everyone, we are going to look at some of these problems that you have in front of you with two-step equations. We've been practicing with partners, and today you are going to show what you know working on your own. So if you need some assistance, you can watch the video and fill it in as we go for the top 5 equations from your worksheet, or you can try the equation and then see how you did and check your work. So let's start with the first equation. Remember, our goal is to isolate our variable. So I'm going to highlight my variable. I know some of you are struggling with what to do on what side with what number. So I want to talk about that in this video. You're always going to do, the doing and undoing is coming from this side of the equation because you're trying to isolate the variable. So what you have over here is you have a 5. So the first thing you're going to do, you're adding 5, right, to this equation. You want to undo adding 5. And the way you're going to undo adding 5 is to subtract 5. Okay, so we want to get rid of that 5 or add a negative 5. That's how we get rid of it. And we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. So again, this is the side that we're deciding what to do over here. And then we just, whatever we do over here, we do on the other side that doesn't have the variable. All right, so now this is going to cancel out, and then you're going to bring down the x over 3 that you still have, bring down your equal sign, and then you're going to simplify 13 minus 5, which is 8. Okay, so we still have our variable over here. It's not isolated yet. It's not by itself. So this time we have division. And in order to undo division, just like we talked about in our notes, we're going to multiply. So since this number's been divided by 3, we're going to multiply by 3, and we're going to do that to both sides. So 3 divided by 3 is 1 over here, so that cancels out. And now we're left with x equals 8 times 3, which is 24. And this is an example of equation where you have the 5 coming before the variable, but you're still adding it, and it's a positive, so you're going to subtract it. So because the 5 is a positive, that's why you're adding a negative 5. What I want you guys also to be doing is recognizing that the Desmos is a way that you can check this. So what we can do is we can put into Desmos 5 plus x over 3, 5 plus x, and then we can put 3 on the bottom. All right, and that's our expression over here. So what I've put in here is just this right here. I've put that into my Desmos. And I got 24 as an answer. So I'm going to see if I put 24 in for x, I get 13. So I'm going to see if it checks. So I'm going to go to my next line, and I'm going to tell Desmos that, hey, I got x is equal to 24, and if it's equal to 13, I know it's right. And check it out, it is. We got 13. So again, I just took my value, the left side of the equation, the part of the equation that has the variable, I put it into Desmos, and then when I get my answer, I got x equals 24. I told Desmos that. And I'm trying to see if that's what the expression is equal to, which is 13. So this is going to check. All right, let's take a look at the next equation. All right, this time we have, this one can be a little tricky. We have our variable, or first of all, let's put our line down the center. This time we have our variable again on the left. But what we're trying to get rid of here, I want us to talk about this. We're trying to isolate the variable. We are adding negative 3 to 5x, but what we're getting rid of is a negative 3. So even if it was negative 3 minus 5x, we'd still be adding 3 to get rid of a negative 3. Okay, so we're adding 3. This cancels out. We're going to bring down our 5x. And then 27 plus 3 is 30. Okay. Again, we're trying to get our variable by itself. So we're multiplying by 5. We're going to undo multiplication by dividing. And x is equal to 6. And again, we can look at how we would put this into Desmos. So I would put negative 3 plus 5x, negative 3 plus 5x into my Desmos. And I want to see if what I got would give me 27. So I'm going to put x equals 27. Oh, not x equals 27. X equals 6. And see if it gives me 27. And that's what I'm trying to get. It gives me 27 if you look over here in the equation. So I know this one is correct. All right, let's look at the third equation. And I'd like you at this point to start trying the equation. And then you can pause the video and then attempt it again. Okay, now this one is a little different again. We're looking at a variety of equations today. The difference is you have your variable on the right side. And I know this has been tripping some of us up. So if the variable's on the right side, we're going to do everything over here. This side is going to tell us what to undo. Whatever we do on the right side in this case, we're just going to do the same thing on the left because we need to keep the equation balanced. So I have negative 4 and then I have multiplying by 3x. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of my negative 4. So I'm going to add 4 to cancel out that negative 4. If I add 4 to the side with the variable, I need to add 4 to the other side. Now this cancels out on the right. And then negative 13 plus 4 is negative 9. And again, you guys, when you're trying to figure these out, like negative 13 plus 4, put it in your calculator if you're not sure. So you'd put in negative 13 plus 4, and I can get that negative 9. So this is going to be negative 9. And then negative 9. Now you're going to be tempted to just bring down this 3x. But you're subtracting 3x here. See how it's subtracting? And subtracting a negative is, or subtracting is just like having a negative 3x. So this is not just 3x. This is going to be negative 3x because you're subtracting. So in order to isolate the variable now, and again, when I'm isolating the variable, if it helps, highlight it. And in order to get x by itself, I'm going to undo the multiplication. And since I multiplied by negative 3, I'm going to divide by negative 3. And so negative 9 divided by negative 3 is 3, positive 3. And then negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1, so it cancels out. And now I have my answer, x is equal to 3. And I can check this in my Desmos, and this will be good for checking because in case you forget to bring down the negative here, in case you just bring down 3x, you're going to get the wrong answer, and then you'll know by using your Desmos to check. So I'm going to put in, this time I'm going to put in the right side, negative 4 minus 3x is our expression, and I'm going to put in 3 and see if I get negative 13. So x is equal to 3. And yes, I got the negative 13. That's what I'm trying to get over here. All right, let's look at a couple of more equations. Go ahead and maybe try. Maybe you've tried all 5 of these and now you're checking it. But let's go ahead and continue. This equation, again, I have the variable just like the last one. I have the variable on the right. So I'm doing everything on the right side, and then I'm just mirroring it or doing the same thing on the left. So over here, you have x divided by 2. I'm going to undo that last. So over here, I'm going to undo the x divided by 2 last. What I'm going to do first is get rid of that 3, that positive 3. So since it's a positive 3, I'm going to add a negative 3 or subtract 3. And then I'm going to subtract 3 from negative 9. So if you go here, I want you guys to get in the habit of using the calculator because this is the mistake I'm seeing a lot of you do. Some of you are doing negative 9 minus negative 3, but this is negative 9 minus 3. So you're going to put in negative 9 minus 3. Okay, just what you have there, that's what you put into your calculator. You don't put negative 9 minus a negative 3. You could put plus because you're combining it. If you put plus, you'd get the same answer. But all you really need to do is put negative 9 minus 3, and then that gives you your negative 12 on this side, equals, this cancels out, x divided by 2. And our variable still on the right. We're figuring out what to do by looking at the right side of the equation where the variable is. And I'm going to undo dividing by 2 by multiplying by 2. And whatever I do to one side, I need to do to the other. So this is going to cancel out, and x is going to be equal to negative 24. We can go into Desmos and check it. And I'm going to put in 3 plus x over 2. 3 plus, use my fraction. X on the top, 2 on the bottom. Go to my next line. I got x equals negative 24. X equals negative 24. And it gives us the negative 9. So we're looking for the negative 9 over here. If you look at the equation where the crossbar is, that's what we're trying to see to get the correct check. All right, let's look at the last equation on the top. So this time we're dividing by negative. The variable is back on the right side again, or excuse me, the left side again. So you're going to highlight the variable, put down your line. I'm going to get rid of the negative 5, or I'm subtracting 5. So I'm going to add 5 to undo that subtraction. This cancels out. On the right side we have 14. And on the left side we have x divided by negative 2. So since we're dividing by negative 2, to undo the division, we're going to multiply both sides by the same number we divided by. Okay, so it has to be a negative 2. If the coefficient is negative for when you're multiplying, or if the number you're dividing by is negative, you undo it by multiplying by negative or dividing by negative. This is going to cancel out because negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. So now I get x is equal to negative 28. And I can go into my Desmos, clear it, and I'm going to put x divided by negative 2 minus 5. Okay, so I'm going to see if what I got for x will give me 9, which is what it's equal to. So I'm going to tell Desmos, hey, x is equal to negative 28. And we got the 9, so it checks. All right, you guys are going to attempt the rest of the problems, and you can check in with the answer key as you go and ask for help as you need it. But I do want you to work on these independently today. And good luck with these equations.